Hey guys, welcome to the first video of Python tutorials. Now we'll be looking at how to download Python. We'll be also looking at how to make sure that we learn the basics of using variables and using text strings. So it's going to be a very simple way of starting off. First things first, obviously you want to download Python itself. You could go to this website up here. It's python.org/downloads, and you could download the latest version down here. There's also a very good option here. You have it's called Replit. You just literally type in Google Replit Python, you select on that. Now this is quite ingenious in the way that it allows you to start coding and your displays it straight away. So that's something that's very useful. You could print in whatever you like and then get started from there. Okay, but we're gonna do our usual download. I think it's the best way of doing it. Download the actual Python itself and start using it from there. Now this is what we have from this is what it looks like. This is the shell, as you can see. Well, the first things first, you want to be creating a file. Okay, so your first file, so your file new at the top. I've made my text nice and big, so as you can see, nice and large, so you can see it. What you can do, you go to options, configure your IDLE, and then you can change the size down here. Okay, so this is where you will start typing in your Python. Right, one of the first things I've done here, you can see that I've got two files here. Sorry, not two files. I've got the file that I've opened up. So you go to the shell here. This is where the output will be. I already did a little bit of programming here, so I've just tested out that little test here. So you got file new, and then you get one of these. Now, obviously, I've saved this in a test area for Python. So one of the first things we want to write down. So now you understand that what happens is that you write a bit of code. You're telling the computer what to do. So the first thing you want to do, most easiest thing actually, is to print. And you have to open brackets, and this is just the syntax of coding, if you like. Point in speech mark, say yo, how you doing, yeah. Now we need to close this and then close the brackets as well. And now to run this, you could hit control, you could hit F5, depends on what computer you have, or you could go at the top here, go run module, and then you'll see that it should come up here. So as you can see, it turns up at the bottom. Now, one of the first things we want to do, we want to learn about what we're printing out, and also storing this information and printing that out as well. And this is called variables. Now, we could add more lines to this. Now, the best thing to do, this is something quite important actually. If you copy, Control C, and then you paste at the bottom. Now, you know that there's no syntax error in this. So if I run this again, you'll see that it should come up twice down here. Now, you could literally change this and have a response. Yes. Oh. Yes, yeah, I'm fine. Okay, I'm fine. Something like that. So that obviously is a question. Right, and then if you run that again, try to keep it shortcut. And you see, yo, how am I doing? Yo, how you doing? Yeah, I'm fine. So you can see this is being printed out here. So this is your output. So this is where it was coming out. Now there are several things I need to learn today. It's about variables. Now we need to create a space where we're storing information. So what you want to do, you could call it anything you want. A variable could be like var1, for example, and we're going to store in a name. Okay, so let's just say we want to store the name John, and then we want to print out that name. Okay, so we go print. Now this is quite important. You don't use the speech marks here and type in John. We could do it like that, but we want to print out whatever's in that variable. So we type in var1 because it's the same name. So var1, and we should see that name coming up. So if you press F5 again, press 1, you'll see John coming up. Now this is something that people won't understand, won't get straight away. If this variable name is wrong, okay, so let's just say you happen to type in var2. Now you know up above here, var2 does not exist. That variable 2 does not exist. You only have variable 1. If you try running this, you'll see an error. So I'm going to press F5. You'll see, look, var2 is not defined. Okay, it's not been defined. This is something you need to get used to, because in programming, in coding, you're going to get a lot of errors, and that's something you need to start knowing about. Something else you need to know about Python is that, well, programming itself, there are different types of variables. So you could have var2 being an age for an integer, so that's going to be a number, a whole number. Okay, you could also have like a variable that is a digit. Okay, so this could be like, a decimal place, a 4.5. For example, you have temperatures in decimals. You have currencies in decimals as well. You won't have them in whole numbers. There's another thing that's called true or false. So we could have a var 4, for example. So this is to state, true. The other state is false. So you have to type like that. You can see the color changes here. So we could have like a variable that's either true or false. And then you could have, there's other types of variables as well. We don't need to get into that too much. Now, another thing that you need to be fully aware of is how to open up your file. So once you've created something, you're going to end up double clicking on it and thinking that it's going to be enough. Now, I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that. So as you can see here, I'm in the Windows Explorer. If you double click on that, it's just going to run whatever you've created from before and just going to disappear on you. What you want to do is right click on it and you want to edit with IDLE, okay, and then choose the one that you've been using all this time, which is the one here. If I select that, it opens up. It's the one that I'm using right now. So that's something really important. A lot of people that I'm aware of, they end up double clicking it. Oh, it's not opening, it's not opening. This is the file that you want to use. This is this file here. You can see what you need to do. Again, just to reiterate, right click, edit with IDLE, and just select, because I've got several Pythons installed. You should only get one of them. Okay, so now we know a little bit more about variables. Now, what you want to do, you could print out each one. So if I do, if I run this now, F5, you can see that I've got the age 16. If you like the number 16, you could also print out variable 4. So again, just copy like that, copy and paste at the bottom, and then you could do variable 4, and you should see it printing out false, because that's what we declared it as. So you can see, yo, how you doing? Yeah, I'm fine. The number 16 and that there as well. Now something that we need to be fully aware of with Python, there are reserved words. So for example, print, that's a reserved word. The false is a reserved word. This is something you can't use. So for example, if I wanted to store like a name, for example, within print, it's not going to work. So something like that, it's just not going to happen. It's going to throw up an error. I press F5, it's going to try to compile that, and it's just not going to like that. So type error. So this type cannot be accepted. Now that's just the initial start of Python. How to get started. It's just really trying to get some information outputted out onto your shell area, and I think that's something to get started with. You need to try messing around with the different variables. One of the other things that I'm going to demonstrate to you is how to take in an import. So for example, if I get rid of this, let's get rid of that entirely. Now I'm going to take in input. So for example, if I type in import, this is another reserved word. As you can see, I want to ask a question. How are you doing today? I know you can't see all of those, and I'm going to close that bracket. Now you'll see that the computer literally takes in that input. Okay, so it's going to prompt me for that. So if I run that now, it's going to print out all of that information. Now it's asking me that question, how are you doing today? Now here in the shell, I could say, you know, whatever, like, yes, I'm fine. Now one thing we didn't do, we didn't store that. We didn't, you know, we need to put it in a place. So what you can do, you could put it in, for example, let's just replace var 1 with whatever this person types in. So here, if I put a question mark there, and then I end up printing, copy that, let's go below that, and I print var 1. We should see that coming out there. So let's run this again. F5, run that. Okay, so we've got that print. You can see your print coming up there in green. Yes, 16, false. How you doing? Question mark. Now I'm going to respond. Yes, I'm fine. This should print out again because we've got this bit here, as you can see. Print var 1 coming up now. Okay, I press enter. So yeah, and that worked. Okay, so that's it for the first video for today. Please don't forget to watch the other videos as well. It's going to explain in a bit more detail. We're going to look over selection processes and look at how to take in further inputs and put that, you know, output that information out as well. Please again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and add free comments if you like to make any suggestions. See you soon.